Following practice ahead of the Singapore Grand Prix, and once again Red Bull are making the headlines now as Daniel Ricciardo has been permanently replaced at Toro Rosso for the remainder of the season by debutant young Spaniard Carlos Sainz. Mercedes unleashed their B-Spec car around the seats of Singapore in hopes of taking the fight to Ferrari and actually taking the lead of the drivers and constructors standings for the first time this season. Williams were expectant of a race win from Josh Chiro, given what he did last year in the Man of Marussia, taking victory, albeit very physically, from the Mercedes of Lewis Hamilton. Taking a look at the grid for the Singapore Grand Prix, and Valtteri Bottas would take pole, but only just from his teammate Nico Rosberg in second, with Josh Chiro starting in third for Williams for the second race in a row. Sebastian Vettel in fourth, the lead Ferrari, 4 tenths off the pace, was also 4 tenths quicker than his teammate Lewis Hamilton, who's in fifth. Sebastian Buemi can only manage 6th on the grid, Daniel Kvyat in 7th, some way ahead of his teammate Jean-Eric Vergne. The Force Indians round off the top 10. Max Verstappen lines up just outside the top 10 in 11th, with Carmen Jorda in 12th for Lotus. Max Ericsson steadily improving his qualifying now in 13th, with Joseph Krell in 14th. Sainz on his debut got only managed 15th on the grid, with the McLarens of Stoffel Van Dorn and Fernando Alonso 17th and 18th, 16th and 17th. Adrian Settl disappointing to be down in 18th, and the team managed to complete the grid. And then third on the grid, once again. I seem to be liking third on the grid. It just seems whoever's ahead of me, I just can't beat them. Last time it was a Mercedes and a Ferrari. This time it's just both Mercedes looking out the front row. So third on the grid. Pretty decent result. In qualifying now, coming up to the 5 red lights. If we need a good start here. Lights out and away we go. Rosberg's got an amazing start from second on the grid. Going to go side by side with Bottas into turn 1, is he? No, but it's definitely cleared us. And we have to leave Vettel to space actually now. Let's try to hold it with the inside, is it? No. Just got to run around the outside. Now we're back up into our starting position of P3. Vettel has to slot back down into P4. See, the team Mercedes are already pulling away. Pretty much showing that their B-Spec car, with the upgraded engine power, and I don't know what they've done with downforce, because the car was pretty downforce heavy to begin with. So they may have improved tyre wear, not just overall downforce, maybe some chassis upgrades. Now looking further back at the teammate Sebastian Buemi, now looking up the inside now of Lewis Hamilton. Could try it up the inside, is he? Hamilton, of course, is where Hamilton Webber crashed a few years ago. No, Hamilton is just able to hold it in front of our teammate Sebastian Buemi for the time being. Now cutting onto the end of lap 2, start of lap 3, nothing happened. We're just now finally caught up to the back of Nico Rosberg. In the Mercedes now gaining the slipstream, now pulled to the inside of the Mercedes driver. We're going to break now for tail long, trying to hold it up the inside. Rosberg trying, no, Rosberg runs out completely wide. So now we're up into P2, running out a bit wide there, getting a bit late on the brakes. So now we moved up ahead of Nico Rosberg. Now we can try and chase down Valtteri Bottas for the lead of the Singapore Grand Prix, because Mercedes bought their upgrades. But we seem to be pretty magic around Singapore, given what we pulled last season. Now cutting midway through lap 4, took us this long to actually catch up now to the back of Valtteri Bottas. You can see now Buemi's moved up into third, and someone's retired from the race, so hopefully that isn't Rosberg. Now keeping him right behind now, Valtteri Bottas. Of course, nowhere really we can overtake around this section, it's just keeping close as you can. So we're going to get a DRS, so again, keep as close as you can, heavy make the move, now getting right up the diffuser of Valtteri Bottas. Now actually going to pit, actually going to make this a 2-stop race now, so you get right up behind Valtteri Bottas there, now coming into the pits. For our first now of 2 stops, we're going to another set of the super soft tyres here, and the soft tyres at our second stint, because the tyres, we saw it last year where I was able to make the tyres last, mainly because I started outside the top 10, so they were starting to set up new tyres, but now this isn't, because I qualified in third. You have to start on the tyres that you qualified on in the top 10. So the tyres just can't last. The race, it's strange, in street circuits usually aren't tyre wear heavy. Now actually there comes Nico Rosberg. Rosberg must have stopped a lap earlier. Now Rosberg's going to try and jump us now. Is he going to jump his teammate Valtteri Bottas as well? Yeah, he is. So now, does that put Rosberg into a net lead? Because I don't know if who else is going to be 1-stopping or 2-stopping. So if everyone does a 2-stop, that's Rosberg into the net lead. But if they don't, then I don't know where. But we still come up ahead of Sebastian Vettel. So Vettel has tried the same strategy, but hasn't quite made it work. Now looking further up front, here's the 2 Lotuses going side by side. Is that Joseph Krell looking to make a move up the inside now of Carmen Jordan? They're going to hold it side by side. Now coming up into the second sector, still they're going side by side. Now we've got one of the Saubers and a Toro Rosso right behind. Now Crowd's going to have the inside line, but Jordan's just going to hold it around the outside, is she? Yes, she is. Great battling here from the two Lotuses, going side by side still. Now coming into the old Singapore Schling, which, well, thankfully now it's been removed, you can still keep it side by side from the two Lotuses. Now consider actually, how are these two keeping side by side for so long? Great racing here from the two Lotus drivers. Now trying to hold it around the outside, is she? Come on, Jordan, try and hold it around the outside. You held it now. Still they're going side by side. Unbelievable scenes there between the two Lotuses, and it's actually losing so much time, but it's a great battle between the two Lotus drivers, of course, fighting for supremacy now that we've moved to Williams. So now this Crowd can try to now hold it round the outside, now turn to the inside for the Czech driver. Now Jordan can hold it around the outside now, turns to the inside. Now Jordan's finally moved ahead of Joseph Krell in what has been probably the battle of the season. Holding it side by side for 2/3 of a lap. Great driving there from the two Lotus drivers. Now cutting further on now onto lap 6. Now right behind Valtteri Bottas and now right behind one of the Manners. See, Rosberg's already cleared it, so now we need to clear as quickly as possible, because that man is basically the car that we won the race in last season. So then it shows they haven't got the pace, neither Rossi or Stevens. Now we managed to clear the Manor as well. Now gaining right in slipstream and DRS now on the back of Valtteri Bottas. Try to make a move, we pull to the inside. We're just a bit too far behind to try and make a move. Looks like Nico Rosberg hasn't managed to pass the other Manor, so hopefully now we can use that Manor, of whichever one's at the front, to hold up Nico Rosberg, and now as the second Manor, which I think is Alex Rossi, now to try and defend from Sebastian Vettel in the Ferrari. Of course, it seemed the Ferraris were pretty terrible around here last year, but it's like Vettel's got the pace easily over Alex Rossi. You can try and force Rossi around the outside to 20 inside if he keeps nosing, but now Vettel now moves ahead of the American driver. And now we see we're right up behind now the other Manor of Will Stevens. Of course, Rosberg managed to clear Will Stevens. Now Bottas looking now to go around the outside now of our fellow Brit. Going to try and hold it around the outside now, coming to the braking zone. He's going to hold it around the outside. Yes, he is. We get the cutback now, switch now to the inside of Will Stevens. I'm actually sweep back round now into what is currently 9th position, but the man is still currently in the points. I imagine they're going for a one-stop to give them any opportunity of managing to score any points from this race. So now we're up into P9. I don't know how legitimate that is, or if we're a net P9 because everyone else ahead, bar Rosberg, hasn't actually stopped yet. So Rosberg will be in 7th. That means there's 6 cars ahead that are yet to stop, and I'd imagine, since they've stayed out this long, that they're all doing one-stops in this race. Now going to start lap 7. No. We're gaining now on the back of Bottas. I should pull away from him slightly now. Bottas is going to pull to the inside now of one of the McLarens. Which McLaren's that? So that'll be Fernando Alonso, is it? Bottas is going to hold it up the inside now. He moves ahead of the McLaren driver now of Fernando Alonso. We can try and hold it now up the inside of the Spaniard. Easy move there. From up the inside now of Fernando Alonso. Of course, if you're in a more competitive car, I'm sure you'd have that much more. But Alonso's also on the soft tyres, so probably doesn't want to ruin his strategy, ruin his stint too much by trying to fight us when there's really no point, because we're on much faster tyres. Getting a bit squirmy under the coming to braking though. Bit of a rear tyre lock over there. That's not what we want when we ride behind a Mercedes, because that could have been a very expensive crash if we made contact there with the back of Valtteri Bottas. Of course, we are an ex-Mercedes young driver, so we still don't want to crash into them, but we want to prove that we can beat the Mercedes. Now cutting a bit further on, here comes one of the other cars coming now for their first stop, and now we're right up behind now the Lotus of Carmen Jorda, me, Rosberg, Buemi. So now Rosberg going to pull to the inside now. Actually, it's a Toro Rosso. Of course, I'm looking at a really tiny window, so it looks a lot darker. So now Rosberg moves ahead of that Toro Rosso. I don't really know which one is it. Probably Verstappen, so it seems to be a bit higher up. And now Bottas going to pull to the inside of Verstappen now. He has to wait further behind now, has to wait for DRS to make the move now. As actually, that's Joseph Krell in the lead of the Grand Prix. But how much longer now Bottas? Let's make the move up the inside now of the Toro Rosso. Has to stay behind now. Rosberg looks to make a move up the inside of Joseph Krell now for the lead of the Grand Prix. And then he has to slip up the inside there of Valtteri Bottas, of course. So we're not really in the championship fight. It's really between the two Mercedes for this race. Of course, because we can just do whatever we want, because we can try and beat the Mercedes as much as we want, because we're not in the championship fight. Whatever we do doesn't really affect us. We try and give the best result that we can. Now trying to look now up the inside of that Toro Rosso, runs a bit wide. Actually, it looks like it's Carlos Sainz and not Max Verstappen. Now trying to hold it now around the outside of Carlos Sainz on his debut, of course, so he hasn't really up to speed, doesn't really know how he race yet. So I managed to move up the inside of the Spaniard. Now we can try and chase down our ex-teammate, no, it's not Carmen Jordan, it's Joseph Krell. So we can try and chase down our old car in form of Joseph Krell. Now Bottas trying to hold it around the outside now of Carlos Sainz, but it hasn't managed to make the move stick. Now it's just losing a lot more time now behind that Toro Rosso. Obviously that's time that he can't afford to lose at this point in the season, just allowing his teammate Nico Rosberg to go road. Now we get a right switch right to the inside now of Joseph Crouch. He goes into the wall, clearly not expecting us to make that move up the inside. Now we move up into what I think is second position, or might be third. I don't know if there's anyone else in front of us, but we're up into a net podium position at least at the moment. Looks like someone else could actually come in for the pit, so Rosberg's now coming for his second stop. So this should be Rosberg going on now onto a set of the soft tyres now to go to the end of this race. Of course, then Rosberg's going to have the undercut on us. It just depends if he comes out in any traffic or not. He's been held for the Lotus and the Toro Rosso. That could be crucial for when we make our stops as well. Now the Lotus and the Toro Rosso should be coming now for what is a one stop. It's onto the soft tyres, but the Lotus has been held once again for the Toro Rosso. Much like what happened to us back at Spa. Lotus just not on it with their pit stops, and Toro Rosso managed to get a much faster pit stop to jump the Lotus driver. Now cutting on to the end of that lap, now we're coming in for our stop. Now Bottas, interestingly, has stayed out for another lap. So it's Bottas going for an overcut on us, and now we're going onto the soft tyres. Now we've been held for a Ferrari, so that pretty much nullifies Rosberg being held, because we got held up as well, so that pretty much evens that out. Now whereabouts are going to come out? Whereabouts is Nico Rosberg in relation to us? Now coming out to the pit exit, now we've got the Ferrari right behind us. Now there goes one of the Lotuses into turn 1. Looks like they're going to clear us. Now here goes Nico Rosberg, just sweeps around our outside, so Rosberg has managed to get the undercut on us despite being held up by the two cars in front of him. So now we try and chase down the German in the Mercedes to try and take what is maybe the net lead of the Grand Prix. I still don't know where anyone else is yet, because we're still quite out of sync with the rest of the grid. Looks as Bottas is currently in the lead, but he has to make another stop here, so I don't know where that's going to come out. Now cutting a bit further on, Nico Rosberg is now caught up right to the back of the Lotus, of which this time I think it's Carmen Jorda. Look around the final corner, is Rosberg close enough to try and make a move coming down into turn 1? Of course he can have the DRS now, he pulls to the inside of Carmen Jorda. I'm trying to hold it now up the inside. There's Valtteri Bottas coming out of the pits. They're going to go 3 wide coming out of the pits. There's contact between Rosberg and Jorda. They're going 3 wide. And there's contact with us as well. There's contact with everyone in this corner. Now Rosberg managed to jump both of us. Now they're going 3 wide with Jorda and Bottas. This is how this is going to end. So Bottas is going to sweep round the outside of us. Now we're going side by side with our ex-teammate Carmen Jorda. Now we just have the superior engine power, supreme straight line speed. And move ahead of Jorda. Now try and look at the inside of Bottas, are we? No, just not quite close enough. Have to slot back in behind the fin for the time being. We'll try and make a move up the inside here. No, just not quite close enough. Bottas closes the door rather aggressively there to keep his position, of course, because he can't afford to lose any points to his teammate Nico Rosberg. Now Carmen Jorda has to worry about defending from the Ferrari now of Sebastian Vettel. So Vettel's really having a decent showing given the Ferrari downforce isn't great this season. They're more about low drag and straight line speed, so Vettel's doing a pretty good job to keep with us and the team Mercedes in this race. But we need to clear Carmen Jorda sometime soon if he stands any chance of trying to catch us and overtake us. Of course, with Vettel in the championship fight, we're just doing the best, trying to get the best results we can this season for the remainder of this season. So now we're only in P5, which means Bottas is in P4, and now Daniel Kvyat is currently leading the Grand Prix, and he's legitimately in the lead as well. You see that he's on the soft tyres. But Daniel Kvyat is leading the Grand Prix. I think that's the first time Red Bull have actually led a Grand Prix for a very long time. And Nico Rosberg in second, Bottas there in third, with us right behind now in fourth, looking to pressure the Finnish driver to try and get space on the podium. And then behind us, quite a gap now to Sebastian Vettel in fifth. Actually he's in sixth, because we're in fifth still, aren't we? Now gaining in the slipstream and DRS now on the back of Valtteri Bottas. So Bottas is able to pull away from us, is now being pulled along by his teammate Nico Rosberg. Now here's Max Verstappen now trying to defend from Sebastian Vettel, but Vettel's going to sweep right to the inside now. Verstappen's going to try and hold it around the outside though. Can he hold it now up the inside, now coming to the second sector? Hold it on the inside. Of course you've seen the battle between the two Lotuses. Vettel just able to power right around the outside on the racing line, and now move up into fifth position, demoting Verstappen down to sixth. But still, that's a great race for Verstappen if he holds that sixth. Then Carmen Jorda's quite a way behind now in seventh. Then there's Carlos Sainz, then the Sauber, and then Joseph Crown, and then Sebastian Buemi. What's Buemi doing all the way back down here? Even a nightmare race. Then there's Fernando Alonso, and there's Lewis Hamilton. What's Hamilton doing all the way down here? I don't even think Hamilton's in the points at this rate. What has happened to Lewis Hamilton and Sebastian Buemi to be this far down the order? It's been a nightmare race for them. Anyway, now cutting a bit further on, Bottas is now gaining right in the slipstream DRS now of his teammate Nico Rosberg for what is P2 in this race. Now Bottas close enough into coming into turn 1 there to stick behind his teammate for the time being. Of course now he's going to be within the DRS range. Coming on now down the second DRS straight, and that's going to be realistically his last opportunity to try and make an overtake on his teammate to take second place. And you see that we are catching Daniel Kvyat. Kvyat really doesn't have the pace in that Red Bull. That Red Bull just has really no pace. Well, see, like I said, back in Hungary, they've really got their car design completely wrong. Now Bottas can now pull to the inside now of Nico Rosberg, because there's a do or die stuff now. It's crucial for the championship, whoever comes out on this, the lead of this. Now Rosberg's just going to defend to the inside, is he? So Rosberg's just going to hold it. Now Bottas has to slot back in now into P3, we're up behind in P4. And if these two keep battling, then there may be an opportunity for us to make a move further on into the lap now, because this is the final lap of the Grand Prix, so we're running out of opportunity to try and make a move if a move is even to present itself. Now the second sector, we have been pretty decent, but of course retraction is where we're still lacking compared to the Mercedes. Of course the upgraded Mercedes with upgraded downforce engine power, still not as powerful as the BMW engine in the back of our Williams. It still looks being able to see their Bottas just pulling away into the distance, but still isn't able to find a way around his teammate Nico Rosberg for the time being. And now there really isn't any opportunities left for Rosberg to try, for Bottas to try and make a move past Nico Rosberg. I think Bottas at this point now is just going to have to settle for P3, because that would still give him points net in the championship, because Rosberg is quite a few points behind. We just mean he's lost a few points there to his teammate Rosberg, which could be crucial later on. But now Daniel Kvyat is going to round the final corner to cross the finish line to take Red Bull's first victory since Brazil 2013. Taking a look at the race results, Daniel Kvyat will take Red Bull's first race victory since Brazil 2013, with Nico Rosberg in second, just over a second behind, Bottas in third, and Bottas still yet looking for his first win for Mercedes. I just realised that. We finished in fourth, just second behind, over half second behind in the end, just couldn't keep with it on the final lap. Sebastian Vettel in fifth, some way behind, with Max Verstappen a very impressive sixth for Toro Rosso, with Carmen Jorda in seventh for Lotus, and Carlos Sainz in eighth, scoring points on his debut, much like Kral did at the previous race. Mark Harrison comes home in ninth for Sauber, Sebastian Buemi down in 10th, and Hamilton in 11th, so another disappointing result for those two, much like the previous race at Italy. And Joseph Kral rounds off the point scorers for Lotus in 12th. Despite not yet winning a race this season, Valtteri Bottas now leads the Driver Championship by 3 points over Sebastian Vettel, who pretty much proving consistency is key over one race results. Hamilton now in third, 8 points behind, and Nico Rosberg in fourth, now only 10 points off the championship lead. Sebastian Buemi is in fifth, 105 points, 42 points off the lead now. With Kvyat now moving up into sixth on 88 points, actually moving ahead of us now because we're mostly back down to seventh on 82. Jenson Button now slips down to 8th on 59 points, only 2 points clear now of John-Eric Verne, who's on 57. Daniel Ricciardo's point scoring total will remain on 48 for the rest of the season, of course, because he's been replaced by Carlos Sainz. So Adrian Sutil now in 11th, and Nico Hülkenberg still round off the top 12, despite not scoring any points in this race. Moving on to the Constructors table, and now Mercedes take the lead in the Constructors for the first time this season, but now they're only 1 point clear of the Scuderia here in second. Now almost 100 points clear, Williams in third. Red Bull in fourth, now 36 points behind Williams. Lotus are looking pretty secure in fifth now, 18 points clear of Toro Rosso here in sixth. Sauber in seventh, now 3 points clear of Force India. McLaren Honda just falling further behind now in ninth on 39 points, and Manor remain in 10th position on 3 points. So that's been the Singapore Grand Prix. Thanks for watching, and to leave a like if you enjoyed the race. Comment down below any thoughts on the race or anything really. Maybe an F if you want. I don't really care, just comment anything really. I'll see you all next time.